Hi guys, John here again. Just a quick not a tutorial, just a quick chat really. Somebody had sent me a question. Hi John, I've got a christening in a few weeks. I'm using a T3i 50mm 1.8 nifty 50, and hopefully I'm hoping to hire a Tamron 17 to 50mm 2.8 VC. Right, yeah, I can actually help you out there and give you a couple of little pointers. A little thing that once happened to me, I'll just tell you a quick story. It was when I was very early on in my career, when I'd actually done it for free as well. It was for a friend. So it's one of the best things you can do is, if you haven't done something before, is do it for no. Nobody moans when you do it for no. So if you make a mistake, it's all good. If you've charged somebody, mistakes, well, should I say, mistakes do happen, but big mistakes are acceptable, do you know what I mean? So I went to this when I owned a 40D. I owned a 40D, a 17 to 85 USM image stabilised lens, and I had a nifty 50. Okay, gets to church, goes in, dark as all, really, a lot darker than it is now, and I'm doing this video at ISO 1600 at f2.8. And it's, you know, it's pretty dark in here, but it was a lot darker than in my room. And I walked up to the vicar and asked if I could use flash, and she said no. So I said to her, well look, I said, I don't mean to be funny, I said, but this is the most darkest church I've ever been in. I said, it's winter, I said, it's pitch black, love. I said, you know, I need to use flash. Now you might not get to be able to do this, but luckily I talked around to letting me use a bit of flash, which for me I'm glad, because then I only had a 40D and I only like to go to ISO 1600, and I only, like I say, my 50mm were good, but it wouldn't zoom in and out. Anyway, she told me I had to stand in a certain spot, and that might happen to you, and this is what I'm saying. I had to stand in a certain spot. My 1785 would only go from f4 to an f5.6. Every time I was zooming in and out, the aperture were changing and I couldn't alter it, so I didn't end up using that much, because it were really underexposing my shots, and I was having to bounce off ceiling with flash, which it did work, they were acceptable, but to me now, on my level now, they're not acceptable. I looked at them the other day and I thought, these are shit, but the customer liked them, but honestly, you know what I mean, your 50mm, I ended up using the ones what I did with the 50mm. They were pretty good, they were near enough exposed correctly, and then I bounced the flash. I didn't really use the flash to illuminate the subject. I used the flash because when I was taking pictures of them as the christening was taking place, behind the priest and stuff, it was all dark. So what I ended up doing is I put the flash on an angle and bounced it up and over the heads to fill. It will more or less been a fill light for the back of the church. If I'd have probably had wireless triggers, which I didn't have then, I'd have probably even took the camera, the flash off camera, and bounced it behind and just straight up into the ceiling, just to illuminate the back of the church. And it'd work as well. If you were at ISO 16 3200, that flash would be really powerful, and it would graft. You'd have to get it right though, because you won't be able to, if you're using a manual flash, you might not be able to keep running over to flash and back again. So that would be a bit of a downfall to doing that. I mean, I've got triggers where I can adjust it from my camera, even in manual, so if I only took my aperture to an f4 from an f2.8, I could manually turn flash power up where you'd be. If you couldn't, I know you've got a YN 560, you'd have to literally go, if you wanted to up your aperture, you'd have to go over to your flash and turn it up. But to be honest, what I'd do, if you're in a low light situation, I'd use your 17 to 50, because I didn't have that. I only had a 50mm, so I was locked in. I was shooting at 2.8 with that, and I was locked in at 50mm, and I couldn't move, so I couldn't walk to zoom. I just had to sit there, but it did get me out of the pickle, and it did work. Luckily for me, the nifty 50 worked. But you're going to have the luxury, if you hire it, of having the 17 to 50 f2.8, which is sharp at 2.8, and plus it's got IS on. If you get that one, the nifty 50 hasn't, because I shot at 1/250 of a second with that. I should have probably tripoded it and shot a bit slower actually, maybe around a 30th or a 40th, that would have been even better. But at a christening, the wetting baby's head and stuff, you've got to freeze the action, so be careful there. You might be able to, as they stood around just talking, take a couple of slow shutter speeds and take a few. But remember, when they're going to wet the baby's head and stuff like that, you need to get your shutter speed up to around 1/250 at least, and then your flash, if you can use it, will help freeze the action. Sorted. That's if you can use flash. If you can't, just expose for your subject and just don't add any fill light. If you shoot high ISOs, when you get home, you start adding, even if you shoot raw, yeah, you can lift them shadows when you get home, it's no problem. Both fill light in Camera Raw or in Lightroom, and them shadows will all come up, but you'll introduce a boatload of noise. So just leave them dark. If it falls dark, it falls dark. It's just tough. I mean, hopefully you'll be able to use a bit of flash to fill in the shadows. If not, they're not really, sometimes the vicars aren't always as funny on a christening as they are at a wedding. A wedding, like, they don't like flashing weddings very often. So yeah, try that lens, because I reckon you might find yourself in a pickle if you just go with your 50mm 1.8. Although if you're doing it for free, I did only go, that was the lens that I ended up using for the christening, because like I tell you, the 17-85, it were, I did use it a bit, but it wasn't acceptable. Not really. It was for them. It was for them, but it wasn't acceptable for me. So yeah, go speak with your vicar, priest, check whether you can use flash, find out whether you can manoeuvre around. If you can manoeuvre around, your 50mm 1.8 would do the trick all day. You won't need the 17-50. Maybe you can go check beforehand and save yourself some money. You might not have to wire a 17-50mm if you're allowed to move and up and down here and there. Do you know what I mean? Save your coin, because that's the same lens, but apart from you can't zoom in and out. But if you can manually do it, then that's fine. But like I say, I couldn't. She said, no, can you stand there, love? And that were me. I had to just stand there and shoot the full christening from one little corner. And like I say, I shot it all at 50mm, more 98% of it, because I couldn't zoom in and out. So hopefully that'll help you out. And another little thing that I'd like to mention before I come out of the christening, yeah, would be you posted a link onto Model Mayhem about my high-speed sync video, didn't you? And it sent off a big discussion about it. But I did notice a lot of people saying, why would you want to go above your sync speed? It's not an hard question to answer, and there's plenty of times when you might want to go above your sync speed. One, if you've only got a manual flash and you want to cheat the sync speed, as we spoke about. Now, indoors or in low light, you would never need to go above your flash sync speed, would you? But if you're outside at a wedding, it's happened to me before, if you're outside at a wedding and you may be on a nice grass bank and you want to do a nice picture at bride, but you want to shoot up into the sky, to a nice blue sky with nice white puffy clouds, you might, and you've got an off-camera manual flash, you might be at 2/50th of a second, you might be at f16 to get your shutter speed to that, and it's just that aperture's killing your flash. So you might want to half the aperture, you might want to get the aperture down to an f8 or an f9, which will allow your flash to be more powerful, but it will speed up your shutter speed and take it slightly above its sync speed, but it will enable then your flash to be a stop more powerful. Are you with me? So that's a case where you might want to cheat your sync speed. That would be perfect. Yes, you could go in high speed sync if you had high speed sync triggers, or if you had an ETTL cord. But again, high speed sync's great, but going in high speed sync, actually, if you understand how high speed sync works, that actually kicks crap out of your flash as well. When you start going above your sync speed, it does work, doesn't it? We all use it, but it doesn't have really take its toll on your flash. If you can just cheat your shutter speed in manual, you're not actually killing the power of your flash. Even though you might be at 1/400th of a second, you're not killing the power at all. All you're doing is limiting how much of the screen, how much of your sensor gets the flash. But the bit that gets it will get the full power. Whereas in high speed sync, you might go across the full screen and it'll illuminate the full shot, but it might knock a stop and a half off your flash. A little tip for these people who have got ETTL triggers or pixel night triggers, something that will fire an ETTL in high speed sync. Get your camera off, your flash off camera, put it into manual but set high speed sync so that you can use high speed sync in manual. set your shutter speed at your native sync speed at say an f5.6, right? Then start to speed your shutter up, and you won't get a black line because you've got your high speed sync turned on. But don't adjust your flash, leave it at that power and watch. As soon as you go to a 1/400 of a second and watch how much power you lose out of your flash. You'll see it go really dark, and then you might have to turn your flash up. I mean, I can do a video if you want, but you might have to turn your flash up a stop and a half, or a stop. So that would be one time where you might want to cheat your sync speed. Well, in fact, that would be more or less one of the only times really. If you wanted to squeeze a bit more out of your shutter, a bit more out of your shutter speed, you wanted to squeeze a bit more out of your flash, and you didn't have ETTL triggers. So I hope this helps, and John, over and out. Any questions, anything, send me an email, please leave a comment. I've noticed a lot of people, hundreds of people are viewing my videos, but I'm not getting very many comments. So please, if you watch it, just, even if it's thank you, you know what I mean, leave us a comment, because I feel like now I'm doing these videos for nothing. Cheers.